Well, it's here. Spoilers, obviously. Rick and Morty has been on a slow decline since season 5.
Trash. I love trash. Yum yum trash. I want to eat trash.
When it was announced that Roland was leaving the show, fans said, you know what, that's okay. It sucks that we don't get any more Rick and Morty, but at least they won't keep making so much of the show that they ruin it.
First off, I always slay it, queen. Secondly, yes.
And against literally everyone's wishes, instead of letting a good thing just be at peace and die, they went ahead with replacing all of the actors Roland played and have officially begun releasing season 7. I haven't exactly been quiet about how much I think this season should not even exist, but I watched episode 1 and did my best to set aside my biases and just try to enjoy it. I was actually impressed with the cold opening when Mr. Poopy Butthole actually sounded dead on. Had I not known they kicked Roland off of his own show, I never would have guessed that this wasn't Roland. If you focus enough, you can hear the difference, but it's not always obvious.
It all started when Beth shot me.
I said I was sorry.
I know. It tore you up inside. Like a bullet!
It was an accident!
The episode gets going, and Morty as well sounds almost indistinguishable from his previous seasons.
I keep tripping on all his top hats.
Where it really hurts is Rick, though.
Gearhead, buddy!
Rick sounds less salty in his personality. When he lays down roasts and burns, they have less weight to them because the sharpness of Roland's voice has been smoothened by this new guy. Rick is continuing the search for Rick Prime when Morty tells him to come upstairs and do an intervention with Mr. Poopy Butthole. He builds a weird ghost machine which is supposed to haunt Mr. PB and get him to leave, to which the family is disapproving. This was funny and all, but it goes back to the character change we've seen in Rick since season 5.
Why does everyone go cyberpunk bird?
Instead of the boss, smartest person in the galaxy who can have whatever he wants, we see Rick produce a faulty ghost contraption and try to improve it when it fails. Instead of just deleting Mr. Poopy Butthole or literally using his smartest brain in the world to build him a free super house or something. Rick rallies the misfits for an intervention, but doesn't like calling it an intervention. He gets RoboCop, Mr. Chiardi, bird person. Turns out he has a daughter somehow, by the way. And Gene, which is hilarious.
Do we know anyone sober? Have you been drinking?
On a Thursday?
Have these creators ever actually driven a riding lawnmower? Or have these drunk college hippies worked remote jobs their whole lives? Lawnmowers aren't that powerful. They take Mr. Poopy Butthole out to a bar when PB exclaims, "It's his birthday!" And instead of an intervention, they just decide to party. This little montage reminds me of who these creators of this show are and who their audience is. Immature drunk kids who, though they now have a family and a full-time job, in their hearts have never graduated from college. The boys run into Hugh Jackman for reasons, which is actually hilarious that just happened. Apparently they literally got Hugh Jackman to do this. Then they take some random pills and college their way back to Hugh's place because that's what you do when you've already wasted the first 30 years of your life accomplishing nothing, so that you might as well continue to accomplish nothing. The boys decide that they want to go get Amy back from Mr. PB. Rick opposes it, but because plot armor, they go anyway. Turns out Mr. PB was lying and it actually wasn't his birthday. He knew the boys were screwing with him. They pull up to Amy's appartement and turns out she got with the Predator, which is freaking hilarious. Then PB kidnaps his son and they're all running. The boys get into a fight with the Predator, and either Rick is no longer powerful or he just doesn't use all of his abilities, so that danger is actually interesting. After pounding the Predator, PB stops the boys from destroying him because his little son is all sad to see him get beat up. The lesson of the story has something to do with if you've screwed up your life so badly that your wife and child are literally better off without you, then literally just go away. Is this a drug-taking PSA? The episode concludes with them taking more drugs that makes them disappear like the ending to Sandlot. I think the philosophy of Rick and Morty is exactly that of their audience. I feel your drunk college kids' interpretation of the world. But all of my criticisms aside, I actually really enjoyed this episode. It wasn't packed full of lore, but still had a really high quality story about the positive character change for Mr. PB. The voices aren't the worst thing ever. I thought they'd be a lot worse. And most of them, aside from Rick, you won't even notice. The rest of the season is like this episode. I'd say they have a decent season of entertainment coming our way. And creepy pedo or not, it was nice to see that the show still gave credit to Roiland in the credits for being the creator of this show. And again, pedo or not, he still deserves royalties for this show because it wouldn't exist without. Oh yeah, and I guess this was a joke about the lawnmower.